This is how I almost died because of my stock rotors. Could have been really bad. We almost flew off this cliff right here. We gotta upgrade our brakes ASAP. So, you may be wondering, why not just put it on the BBK? Well, not everybody has a mortgage to drop on a BBK, but I'm gonna give you a cheaper alternative. About $300 to $400 will get you one of these bad boys here. Drilled and slotted rotors. So let's get these installed. Got the jack in position. Before we actually lift the vehicle, we're gonna break our lug nuts loose. Now we're just gonna take these lugs off. We're gonna take the wheel off. All right, so anytime you guys have your wheel off, it's good to check your suspension, you know, check everything, make sure everything's tight. As you can see here, that's not supposed to do that. And as you can see down here, that's definitely not supposed to do that either. See how loose that makes it? That just means everything's gonna be loose. More parts to replace, more videos for you guys, more damage to my bank account. All right, let's do this. So first, we're gonna take our caliper off. In my case, this can be a 14 millimeter. Now we're gonna loosen that one, and then we're gonna loosen this bottom one right here. It's gonna allow the shell of the caliper to come off. These are just slider bolt pins. Go ahead and pull this straight out. We're gonna pop off the brake pads, which I just put these on, so they're still brand new. We're gonna reuse these later. Now we're gonna get the whole caliper carrier off. You can get a breaker bar with the 17 mil, just to make my life easier. And we're just gonna go ahead and break these bolts here. Voila. And take these screws, and these just kind of hold the caliper in place. And there it goes. These are a great alternative. They allow for the gases to escape through these holes while your pad is braking. And these slots kind of clean the pad up every pass they go through while you're braking, to keep new material on the pad and clamping on the rotor. They also keep them cooler with these holes, obviously. That allows more airflow to go in and out the top through these veins here. Compared to this one, doesn't really have any of that. So these are gonna run hotter. You know, you want to do a track day, these are going to be a bit hotter. You're not going to have enough braking usage out of these. Versus these, you're going to have longer brake usage. And they still really look badass. So, let's finish installing. So now I'm just going to clean up this area right here. Get all this NTCs off. Normally just spray this down with some brake clean, but I don't have any more. And I forgot to go get more. Now I'm just going to go ahead and hit it with the wire wheel. I don't really like cleaning my house, but when it comes to this baby, everything should be spotless. Clean these up. And this is the point where you want to use some brake clean on these, but like I said, I don't have any, so hopefully this is good enough and I don't die. We're just gonna put a thin layer of this on. This is just so the rotor doesn't seize up to this and it's not a pain in the ass later if we have to take it off. These holes that are countersunk, I'm gonna line them up with these threaded holes. Just gonna install everything back to where it goes. So I'm gonna put on these screws right here. Okay, and since we already have this off, we're gonna take these slider pins off. See all this old grease. It's always a good idea to do this, put fresh grease on them, check the condition of the pins. I get our brake parts lubricant, put a dab on here. Just gonna rub it around, and we're gonna grab this, shove it back in there. You can see it has a little bit of spring back, and that's what you want. We do the same to this side. The grease again, rub her down, shove it back in the hole. And we're good to reinstall these. Get our 17 millimeter bolt. We're gonna put a little bit of Loctite on these. And we're gonna put these back in. Now we're gonna snug them up with the wrench. Now we're gonna torque the 17 millimeter bolts to 80 foot-pounds. Just add a dab of grease there. We're gonna put some right here on the edges. We're gonna lightly grease this just so it doesn't get stuck. Put this on. Since the back one, we're gonna put some in the middle just so that piston can hit that spot. The wear indicator towards the back. Go ahead and slide this right on. Now we're gonna get our slider pin bolts and we're gonna do the same and add some Loctite to them. We're gonna screw those in. We get our 14 mil, and that's it. The last thing we're gonna do here before we put the wheel on, I'm gonna clean this up with the wire wheel. Okay, and then we're just gonna put some NTCs on here. We're doing this just so the wheel doesn't get stuck to the rotor. It doesn't corrode on. You know, this area gets wet a lot with the rain, water, you know, puddles and stuff. Now we're gonna throw the wheel back on. You can see how it looks, and damn, does that look sexy. Look at that. Just look at the difference between this and what we had before. Now we're gonna put the lug nuts on. You're still there? Just wait. It's gonna take a while. I don't have an impact set. All right, now that we got those on, we're just gonna go ahead and grab our breaker bar and snug them up a bit just so we don't have to do extra work with the torque wrench. Look at how she spins. Put some weight on that tire. Don't have a 1/2-inch breaker bar. Cry about it in the comments. So we're already set to 80 foot-pounds. And just like that, she's done.
Now it's time to bed the brakes.
The reason you bed your brakes is to break them in, essentially. And the way you do it is you go from 40 to 10 miles per hour, hard stop, but you don't completely stop your vehicle. You want your brakes to get nice and hot, nice and warm. That way it breaks them in. And you're gonna do that about 8 to 10 times. You know, at the beginning it's gonna feel really squishy, the brake pedal. Towards the end it's gonna get firmer and firmer, it's gonna start biting more. And then that's how you know you properly bedded the brakes. So now, let's go hit some canyons. They definitely improved our canyon racing. So were they worth it? Yes. Stay tuned for more canyon upgrades. That guy was throwing up.